Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Craig Cecilio, CEO, DiversyFunds, on the show with us today. All right, Craig, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm good, good. Give our audience some background on you, what DiversyFunds does, and then let's drill into a couple of questions we got for you today.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show. DiversyFund is a vertically integrated real estate crowdfunding platform. And what I mean by vertically integrated, that means we develop the property, manage the property, we do everything with all the real estate assets, and you as an investor own a share in the properties that we invest in.
Okay. Give us a portfolio mix. What does that look like?
Well, today's portfolio is single-family and mixed-use commercial assets. Tomorrow's would be more focused on more mixed-use in apartments than anything else. We're kind of getting to the point in time where we feel the market's kind of accelerating, and we want to kind of make sure that we have income-producing properties predominantly in our portfolio.
It's been my experience that in order for a crowdfunding project to actually get off the ground and make money, you've got to come with your own crowd. That means if you're successful at this, that means you've got a few people that you know that are interested in what you're doing. How do you build yourself up and reach more and more people every day? That's got to be a big task with you.
Oh, well, that's a great question. I've gotten that question a few times. And I don't want to kind of scare anybody and take away anyone's hope to start something like this. But I got involved in real estate syndication back in 1997, 1998, and I was taught this. I was taught all the nuances about it by a couple of people I've met. So this is natural for me to do. And was back then was kind of hitting the pavement, doing a lot of meetings, doing a lot of face-to-face stuff, and just kind of built a database. But in today's world, it's more data-driven. So I think some people who may start out might have a little more hope of being successful with that due to the fact that there's a lot of data at your fingertips. And kind of in the media, it talks a lot about data, and we all know right now. And but comes with the experience of me building this up over the last 20 years as well is just kind of understanding how to structure a deal, how to syndicate that, and all the, I don't want to say issues that arise, but all the mechanics that arise out of doing transactions with a huge crowd of people.
Give our audience a flavor for the types of problems that you solve with DiversyFund.
There really hasn't been any issues since we've been in existence. It's more on the technology side. Mm-hmm. It's building out that technology and building the right team to run that technology. And we started this off by being a platform just for accredited investors. We recently brought aboard a CTO. We're opening up to non-accredited investors in about 2 to 3 months. With that is a lot more technical components that we have to prepare for. Just a lot more capacity for building out your website and all those things that happen. We have a lot more people running to your website. It's very deep in the technology side of things. So kind of we've had some organic growth and natural growth with everything, but it's just building the right team, and that's kind of this just takes time and some hard work.
Now, being that I'm hearing a lot of technical. You're leaning very heavy on the technical side. I don't know if you're using artificial intelligence, deep machine learning, or just a better way to analyze the analytics that you're getting to figure out where you're going to put the money next. Give us a flavor for how your decision-making processes are working in that area.
Well, our decision-making for finding which investments to invest in is not technology driven as much. We've been in the real estate industry, me and my partner, for over 20 years. It's more relationship driven. Okay. We get presented great opportunities. So as we progress, I don't really see the technology really come into play on the underwriting side. Mm-hmm. I see it coming more into play on just managing the asset, managing the investors on the platform for that. With the way the markets change so quickly, about time we can build something out to do the underwriting and have that, the markets can just change too quickly for that. So that's kind of really where our experience comes in hand.
Okay. So deal flow is something you've already got in place because of your experience in the industry sector, but you got to keep expanding the deal flow so you can find the gems, right?
That's never been a hard part of the job for us. It's just building the right relationships, having the experience, surviving a couple downturns. And if you're in the real estate industry and you're a realtor or a broker and someone who has a deal, you usually get compensated based on a commission or on the transaction closing itself in some form or manner.
Right.
You kind of want to align yourself with people who could close a transaction. The most successful people only present offers to people who could close. So we have that reputation. So it kind of really narrows that for us. So
Okay.
It really makes it much more simple.
It's not iffy when they come to you. Okay, I know that these guys will do a deal. Is it just the right deal is what I'm getting. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
The look forward here, we're going to take a break and then we'll come back and I have more questions for you. We can get into ICOs on the other side of the commercial break, but the look forward for the real estate market. You've been in a couple of downturns, like you said. It's been my experience. Downturn in the equity market, sometimes a flight to safety gets a portfolio shift and more real estate gets in there as a place to park money than it had in the past. Are you starting to see any movement in that direction?
For people parking more money in real estate
than they have in the past, because the high alpha was in stocks. Now
I do, and I think this is a great lead-in to the cryptocurrency as well conversation, because I think a lot of people made money already on the cryptocurrency, and I think they're going to want to kind of get out of that and go into a more tangible asset. So it's a great segue into that next conversation we're having. Yeah, and I do see that. I see a very, very competitive market out there. It's definitely a seller's market. The prices are high. Coastal areas, a lot of prime commercial. It's going for over market. It's really tough to get. So a lot of people are parking money into real estate right now.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side and let's start off with the crypto world and see what you're doing there. All right.
Great. Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right. You're welcome. Craig Cecilio, President, DiversyFunds, DiversyFund.com. We're going to take a brief break. You've been listening to CEO Money with Michael Yorba. We'll be right back after this brief commercial break. Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. All right, we're talking with Craig Cecilio, CEO, DiversyFunds. All right, Craig, we had a little lead-in on the ICO, the cryptocurrencies. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that in the investment crowdfunding industry.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people who have invested into the cryptocurrencies in the early stage have made a lot of money and are thinking about getting out and maybe investing in more of a tangible asset. And depending on how much they have, I think it's a great opportunity for them to convert that coin over into one of the real estate crowdfunding platforms and get involved in real estate and real estate investing. There's a lot of volatility in the markets. Looking at the price of Ethereum right now, I think it's $507.91. I know it's getting over $1,000 at one point in time. So people who've gotten in early might feel that urge to kind of get out and cash out in the money they've already made. I see agents in the real estate world pitching high-end properties to people with the caveat that they can convert either Bitcoin or Ethereum into U.S. dollars to buy some property here in the States.
I see that that's going to be a real popular move here, the way things are going. Give me the process with what you're talking about, because it's one thing to say that, it's a whole other thing to actually go through the logistics of how do you get from Ethereum or Bitcoin or what have you to a real estate asset that you can actually cash out and have a liquidity event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, by no means I am not an expert on the cryptocurrency side of things. And I guess what start with is where you're from. So what country are you from? Are you from the U.S.? It's a pretty simple process. It gets more complicated with if you're outside the U.S. but there's all types of different platforms out there where you could cash it into U.S. dollars. And then once you have it into U.S. dollars, you could go to your particular real estate crowdfunding platform. You could just purchase real estate yourself. And depending on that platform, I think each platform has its own way of doing things. Again, if you're a U.S. citizen, it's pretty simple to go to a platform. All the compliance is done online. Our platform is pretty simple to use. If you're external outside the U.S., I think you might have to consult with an attorney on how to move those U.S. dollars over here.
It just makes me think that since we're doing a lot of repatriation of money, there's an old saying in the industry, it's, when the U.S. catches a cold, Canada gets pneumonia. Well, the rest of the world does too. And I'm thinking that on that line of conversation, people are trying to get out of less risky investments when they start to see them go down. I mean, Bitcoin 20,000 to 6,000, the Dow having the pullback that it's had, and the uncertainty of what's going on a geopolitical scale. It seems to me that you'd probably be in a good position to just be letting the ball fall right in your lap with this.
Yeah, and we will have analytics. We do have analytics right now. I haven't run them, but we get analytics month to month if we get more people purchasing on our platform. So we'd probably be a good source of information at year's end to really see a pattern of what point in time did we have more investors come to our platform, and that could be based on some significant geopolitical event, like you said. We could do, okay, this week or this month we had a higher amount of users due to the fact that something happened on the news, the stock market crashed, or someone said something that caused some fear and people jumped into it. So, yeah, you could see us really being a good kind of source of information for what happens with that.
We only have a couple of minutes left, and I want to hit a few more topics before we go. Low cost of entry to investors. How low does it really go?
Right now, 5,000. We're working on getting it as low as 500.
Okay. All right. Is that when you bring on the non-accredited?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And there's other real estate crowdfunding companies out there. So in every industry sector, you've got to stand out in the crowd. You got to be the different one and with the better benefits. What are yours?
The biggest one is we're a vertically integrated platform. We own the real estate assets. We're not lending the assets to another sponsor, another party. One of the first things you do when you underwrite real estate, besides the location's everything, but I kind of look at it a little differently. I look at who are you lending that money to? Who's the operator? Who is operating that asset? Whether it be a development deal or just managing a commercial property. What is their track record? What is their background? What is their experience? And with our platform, that our company has been around, the management here has over 20 years experience in real estate. You move that obstacle out of the way right away. So you have that trust, you have that credibility right there. And then second thing you look at is with us is just the real estate itself. So that's a really big differentiator for us is that when you come to our platform, every time you come to us and you want to invest again a second time or referring someone to come with us, we have that credibility.
That's marvelous. I mean, you close the deals and you got the credibility. Vertically integrated, low cost, low threshold to barrier, I should say, to enter into the fund. I see that this is just going to go gangbusters. All right, we've got to go, but before we do, contact info for you so our audience can reach out.
Very easy, DiversyFund.com, or you can find me through my social media channels at Craig Cecilio.
Got it. Craig, thanks for being a guest on the show.
Great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Craig Cecilio, CEO, DiversyFund, DiversyFund.com. We're going to take a brief break and come back with David Williams of Markets to Watch at PageTrader.